Hello and welcome to On the Hook Crochet, where we find out what's on the hook today. Today I have 4 projects that I want to introduce you to. One I have been working on a little bit, but the rest are brand new, and I wanted to show you kind of what I was planning for the first part of the summer, because I'm going to be winding down on my summer crochet and start up on my fall and winter crochet probably mid-July. So these projects need to be finished by the end of June, and I have a couple others that are in progress as well. So I wanted to introduce you to these 4 though, because they're all a little bit different and they're quite interesting. I wanted to show these to you. Alright, the first one is a project that I've already started, and it's by Yarnspirations. This is the Just Beachy crochet tank. I know I've shown that to you before. It's a very easy item to make. It's done in 2 big rectangles, and the rectangles are sewn from the waist up, and then you wear a tank underneath it. The sleeves are just capped, very loose, and in the back is also a seam that goes about halfway up. I plan to take that up farther. I don't want to have a low back on my crop top, although I will be wearing it with a tank top, so that might not matter. So it kind of comes down pretty far and then is sewn below that point. So we'll just see how it goes. I usually try things on. If I don't like them, I change them, and that's what patterns are for. They're just really kind of an outline. So what happens with this pattern is you crochet from the bottom of the front waist all the way up over the shoulder and to the back waist. So you're making a very long rectangle. Now I've made one rectangle already, and I will show that to you. This is the rectangle that I'm making, that I've actually already completed this, and you see how long it is, and then it goes all the way over here. So what I've done is I've crocheted from one end to the other in different stitches. The stitches are very easy. There's a crochet, double crochet lace stitch. There are a couple rows of single crochet, and then the lace stitch, single crochet. So it's not difficult to do. And what I'm doing is making it from Cotton on Denim by James Brett. It's a purple and white, beautiful variegated yarn, and it's, I believe, all cotton. No, it's cotton and acrylic, half and half, and it's wound in a circle. You can actually see the lines on it, and the plies must be pretty thick because you can almost see how they are, but they obviously will not be splitting. And I've been crocheting it with this now for about a week, and I haven't had any trouble with the yarn. I frogged a time or 2 back where I was using a wrong stitch, and it frogs out very easily. So there's no halo, there's no fuzz on it, and it seems to be very light. So I'm sure it'll be nice and cool to wear with a tank under it, and I plan to finish that in the next day or 2, because I have my second one, the second piece, already done this far, and I only have about this much more to go, and then I will seam it up and it'll be finished. I might find myself changing the pattern, which I always do, and maybe putting a bottom, several rows of single crochet around the bottom just to finish it off, because it looks very unfinished in the picture. But I like the way it was structured, and I like the way it looks, so I'm using it as an outline, and I may change it a little bit toward the end, but I will obviously show that to you when I get it completed. My second project is called the Summer Boho Crop Top, and it is actually granny squares, and I don't like that word. I don't like granny squares, but everybody does them in crochet, so it's very rare that I ever make anything with a granny square. I just don't like the look of it. But this was different. This pattern is made from 12, for the small, medium, I think, and large size, are done in 12 squares. There are 3 there across the front. And then along the back are 9 squares. So there are 12 squares total in the whole top. And here's the edge of the back. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, and then there are 3 across in 3 rows. So you have 9 squares on the back. And then there are several rows of connector crochet stitches that connect the squares together. And then in the front, there are several rows of different kinds of stitches across the front below the 3 squares. So it looks like a pretty interesting pattern. I don't know how far I'll get with it. I hope I can finish it. The pattern does not look difficult. It just looks like there's a lot to do. But what I did was I found the yarn in my stash. It's Lion Brand Jean's yarn in Top Stitch, which is this color. It's a brown, kind of copper, very nice color. I love the Jean's yarn. I've made lots and lots of things from it. And here is the square that I made. This is the what they call a granny square, but it's really done more in a circular version. All this is circular around the middle, and I did like that. I don't like the standard granny square look. I just don't like it. I'm tired of it. I've seen it for years and years, and it's great to practice on, but I just don't like wearing it. But this looked like something that might look really good the way they've put it together. So I'm excited to get started on this. This is just 1 square, and I have 11 more to make. And then I have to sew it all together. So we'll see how far I get with that. I don't ever plan things to fail and to not finish, but I should be able to finish that. It's not going to be a real cool sweater because it is made out of the Jean's yarn, and that is not a lightweight yarn. So the third project that I have going, I have a couple of things I want to show you about this. I'm going to use, of course, the Fortune's Shawlette Moogly Blog pattern, and I've used it twice now, and I absolutely love it. It's a corner to corner, and I don't make blankets, but I know people are raving about the corner to corner blanket patterns and how easy they are, and I think Seta's making one, and there's several people that have made corner to corners and talked about how wonderful the pattern is. Well, I didn't even know what it was till I made the Fortune Shawlette. And then I realized that was a corner to corner pattern, and it was just done in a very lightweight yarn or thread basically, and it's very easy to do. You just work side to side, and you can almost do it without thinking, which is great for a TV project or just somewhere where you don't want to be checking your pattern all the time to be sure you're doing things right. And on the shawl pattern, you just crochet till you get finished, and then you stop. So you're starting from the point and moving out to the ends. And so you can make it as large as you want. And you're not locked into the first line of chains that you do, which I really, really like. So I'm going to use the Fortune's Shawlette Moogly Blog pattern. And here's a little piece of the printout that I showed y'all in a couple of videos ago. And I am going to put the edging on this. Now, I want to show you what I'm making it out of. I'm making it out of the yarn that I got at the Destin Yarn Shop. And this is the yarn that the owner actually makes from unmercerized cotton that she gets as overstock from big fashion houses that make really fine products. And they sell the thread that they have left over as mill ends, and she buys those and she winds them into a ball, and different colors of course. And here's an example of one, and I'll show you about this little thing too, but I've put it on this post so I can pull it off very easily. And when you have it on here, you just pull it in and it rolls very easily. I've got my finger on it right now so it doesn't unroll. But this is the yarn that I bought there, and it's beautiful Destin colors, the water, and I explained all that to you in a previous video. But this is the Fortune Shawlette shawl started in this particular yarn, and it's very similar to It's a Wrap by Red Heart that we actually got in our crochet surprise box, or you can buy it at the store. I saw it, I think I saw it at Joann's, and it's a beautiful yarn. I have had absolutely no problem with it splitting, even though the 4 threads are not wound together. They're just kind of put together, and it's so interesting the way that it crochets. I really, really like it. But this is the beginning of the Fortune Shawlette shawl, and I will be finishing that because it's quite gorgeous, and I want to make sure I use all the colors, so it'll probably be a pretty big shawl. You know, I'm not big on big shawls, but this is so lightweight that it probably will be very, very nice as a large shawl. I can probably still wear it as a scarf. I could probably do that. This is a little gadget that I bought on the web. I always have trouble when I am rolling off yarn from a ball and it flops around all over the place, and I've never solved the problem. I've always just put it in a bag or something. But I saw this on the web, and it was kind of rave reviews about it from people who had bought it. And you just put your ball of yarn on there, and you pull it, and this little post is very lightweight, and it goes around on a base. See that? And you just set it next to your chair or wherever you're crocheting, and you just tug it a little bit, and it rolls off very easily. So I'm excited. I've used it for, maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and it's been perfect. So I plan to finish that in not too much time, and I'll show you that when I get done with it. The fourth project that I have is a pattern that I got off the web, of course, and this is called the Saratoga Poncho Top. That's hard to say. It takes 1,225 yards of sport weight using a G hook. I don't know. I might make it the way it's supposed to be made, but I love the way it looks. Look at this. Isn't that cute? And it's very, very easy to make. Again, it's very similar to the other top that I'm making because you crochet it this way. You crochet it straight up in a rectangle, and then you sew it here next to the other rectangle, which is over here. So the only difference is this rectangle has two different stitches. You're stitching, actually, I think you're stitching this way. Yes, you're stitching this and over the shoulder and onto the back. And then when you get to this point, you just change the stitch to more of a lace stitch. And then you seam it. It's seamed right here on the side. So it should be really, really cool. I'm real excited about this. This is how it looks on the model, not that it's going to look that way on me. I'm always trying to be realistic about this. But there she is, and I think she has a tank on under it, and it looks like a pretty lightweight top. And if I had that color, I would have absolutely used it. But I didn't have that color, and I'm trying to use up my stash. That's why I'm doing part of this. All of this was already bought. I had it in my stash, except for the Destin Yarn Shop stuff, and I actually bought that knowing I was going to make a shawl out of it. I just didn't know which one. This is a yarn that I bought a long time ago. And I did a video about it, and part of a video about it. And it's called Drifter. It's a double knitting, size 3 yarn, and it's got a plethora of colors in it. And it's a very summery color combination. It's got blue and coral and green and every color under the sun, practically, yellow and chartreuse, and it's a little bit too busy, honestly. And I did a swatch with it, and I'll have to put a link to the video. I might be able to find it. But I did a swatch with this when I was talking about making swatches of yarn so that you could see how they looked after you got them crocheted. And here is, if you remember, if people that have watched my videos might remember this. On the swatch video, I did several different stitches with this particular yarn, and I never got to the coral, I never got to the yellow, I never got to some of the colors. But because this top takes so much yarn, I thought all these colors are going to appear eventually in that top. So I'm going to just try it. I'm going to use this yarn because it's in my stash, and I'm going to use it to make this pattern. And that way I can use it up. It's just about the same number of yards that I need, 1,225. I think I have 1,300 on in this bag full of yarn. And I bought it on sale, and I honestly didn't know how it was going to look. But I'm going to try it in this, and I will keep you up to date on how it looks. When I get a few rows done, I'll show it to you, and you can take a look at it and see what you think. But maybe you could give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And say, I don't like that yarn for that sweater, or I think that looks great. You know, I might let y'all just vote on it, and If you say not to continue, I might just put it away. I don't know what else I'll be doing with it. But another thing I wanted to tell you, and I'm really excited about, and I thank you so much for subscribing. I went over my 1,000 subscribers this week, and only because of y'all. I really appreciate my subscribers more than you know. And what it means to me is that you're interested in what I have to say, and it keeps me going. So when I reached 1,000, I thought I will do a giveaway. So I'm going to do a giveaway maybe one time next week. And I think I'm going to bury it in a video. I don't think I'm going to call it a giveaway, even though I'll have the rules and everything there in the description box. I think I'm going to announce it just during a video. I'm not going to call it giveaway because I don't want people to subscribe just for the giveaway. I want them to enjoy my channel and to watch what I'm doing and maybe be inspired and do something that I'm doing. That's really why I'm here. So I wanted to just say that and thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. The comments that y'all put on my videos are so thoughtful and so sweet, and I try to answer a lot of them. I can't answer everyone, but I do read each one, and when I do, I hit the little heart, and that means that I have actually read your comment and I agree with it or thank you for it. And my channel's been growing and growing, and I so appreciate y'all watching and subscribing and liking my videos. I really do. I really appreciate it. So join me next time to find out what's on the hook.